Okay, we are at the Cannes Lion Festival. I am excited to be here with Sophie Kelly, SVP of Whiskies at Diageo North America. I am Dan Gardner, founder and CEO of Code and Theory.
A very good digital agency.
Thank you.
And more.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, first time back here in years. How are you feeling? What are you excited to learn? What are you excited to see?
I'm a little tired right now, Dan, because I got off that red eye. But I'm super excited. No, being in South France, who doesn't love that?
I know. Anybody that complains should not be allowed to come.
Totally.
Don't you agree?
Rude.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So what am I excited about? I've already run into many people that I haven't seen for years, different places.
Are they smarter?
Probably, definitely than me right now on 2
I meant
hours.
smarter than they were a couple of years ago.
I don't know.
Okay.
Our conversations have been very surface,
Okay.
very surface
Okay.
so far. This
Well, we're
one's
going to get into it right
deep.
now. Yeah, we're going to get into it.
But no, I mean, I'm really excited to meet different people. I'm excited to see the work. You know, I'm kind of competitive. I like to go through the palais, have a look at the work. I like to come out fired up about how I can do better. So I'm psyched about that. That's probably a bit of a predictable answer, but it's true. And
Well, it's important to stay curious.
Yeah.
And not come like you know everything.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah, and the you know, running into different people, I think the conversation as I've scanned all the speaking things, a lot on Web3, a lot of purpose-driven forums, which I'm psyched about, sustainability, I&D. Yeah, I mean, hopefully I'm going to meet people I haven't met before,
Yep.
like you. And I'm going to come out more inspired and thinking about what I need to do with our brands to connect in a different way. That's the point.
That is the point. So I guess to that point, what have you seen? What type of conversations? You mentioned Web3 that has been different this year to maybe previous years. Like how have you been coming here for a long time, both as from an agency perspective, now client side. So you must have seen many different perspectives evolve over time. So what do you feel now that is different than the conversations in the past?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to say I'm like first day off.
Yeah. So you see, yeah.
So I'm just
acclimating.
getting into the vibe right now. But you know, we have amazing categories, very widespread categories for work, PR, media, social, out of home, purpose-driven, Glass Lion. I judged that last year. It was fascinating. I think, you know, I'm fascinated and I consider myself way behind on Web3. But the fact that we have so many forums on it, which is all about the future, and I don't think we'll see that in much of the work actually coming through the award shows. So I think it's fascinating. We're going to see amazing craft through all the categories in all of the work. I suspect we're going to see a lot of purpose-driven work, like a lot of, you know, relief, charity, community-based work, given the last 3 years of COVID. I know we did a lot of that work. And yet the forums and the speaking forums are going to be really focused on Web3.
So
because I'm thinking there's not going to be many people who have done work in time to enter.
Yes,
to
I
back
agree.
up the future forward conversation that we're going to have.
I agree with that. So let's talk about Web3 for a second, because with the volatility that's going in the world across all markets, certainly Web3, you know, there's so much hype. Now there's so much trepidation. I guess, how are you feeling about Web3 and its certainty as a disruptor within the brand marketing or even just technology space?
Yeah, look, there is a lot of turbulence right now, and I'm never gonna, it's kind of the way we looked at the last 3 years. You have to look at things that happened as really not great for people, mental health, you know, society. However, I look at this and say, I believe it's the biggest disruption we've seen in a long time to culture and to future forward brand experiences. So regardless of what's happening in the marketplace right now, it is a basis for communities to come together and create in a way that we haven't seen. It creates a sort of financial model for creators that we haven't seen in Web 2. Communities are gathering around and behind crypto and also NFTs in a way that we haven't seen. And those communities are a real two-way speaker for the way they want people to interact with them. What services, what utility, what added value, what experiences. So, you know, I remain super excited about it from a theoretical perspective and then super vulnerable from a learning perspective.
So how do you manage sort of the risk reward of opportunity of entering Web3? As you say, the service level and the utility level, there's certain commitments that sometimes come along with that are a bit more long-term than short-term, at least some of the emerging projects that look like have more legs and effectiveness. But with that comes commitment. And like you said, vulnerable. So how do you manage sort of, especially across a portfolio of brands, how do you manage the portfolio brands, the consumers, the brand safety, but the true opportunity, especially if you're to be disrupted by someone else that may be taking advantage of it?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I love to look at people I admire. So I really admire the work that Adidas has done across Web3. Because, you know, I think they did their PO-up, then they did a great collaboration on NFTs with Bored Ape Yacht Club, then they bought space in the metaverse, then they created an experience on it, then they went into IP and merchandising. They are creating with a community of people platforms. Then I look at Gucci and I'm like, wow, you're just all in. You're accepting crypto, you're putting out product. I mean, they are being very disruptive when it comes to luxury and fashion. For us, it's about creating a journey and a roadmap. If you look at the way we are engaging, we're on our path to crypto, but right now it's about understanding our brands, looking at the communities, and doing cultural collaborations where we as a brand offer some sort of value add. So the recent one we did with Vayner NFT team, which was amazing, which was with Johnny Walker Blue. The brand's the most gifted scotch. Superb, rare, blended scotch. VeeFriends has a community called Gift Goat. There are 555 of them. And we went in and we did personalized, customized Gift Goat Johnny Walker Blues. So in that situation, that is a cultural collaboration where we are fitting into their community and supplying them with added value. Then if you take a brand like DJ, who plays hard in the festivals, Neon Festival, we created NFTs where people could get access to specialized experiences within these festivals. You look at the recent rare and collectible release for Johnny Walker 48-year-old, 7 of them released on Block Bar, 36,000, something like that, per release. No real cultural collab, but starting to test a platform where we can bring in a new luxury consumer to our rare and collectible spirits, similarly to what we would do with a Christie's or a Sotheby's. So I guess my point is, what's great about the space is it is creator and community first. They will tell you whether you have the credibility to play there and whether they want what you want. And they will also give you major clues about what the future looks like. So as marketeers, start experimenting, start being a part of the communities in different ways. I mean, our big dream is to take all our rare and collectible spirits and experiences and create a massive marketplace for a new generation of luxury consumers. I mean, how cool would that be?
You got me sold already.
Yeah,
I'm joining that community.
Yeah.
So let me ask this question, because I think the collaboration is an interesting and really effective approach, especially in Web3, because it is all about communities. And the great thing about being on chain is you can actually match communities more effectively. And I think, you know, if you look at the last couple of years within spirits, it's been like this arms race of celebrity.
Yeah.
There's the tequila
we
name
own a few
for,
of those.
exactly. So, you know, but there's some similarities there. So do you think, I guess the first question is, do you think that's the beginning and the end of the traditional celebrity as, and second, is that Web3 collaboration almost like the evolution of where that started and where it kind of continues and sort of a broadening of cultural connection?
That's like a really good question. I feel like I need
you.
someone like you to answer that with me. But what would I say is, do you remember when digital came around, we both, like,
Yes.
I worked in a digital
Yep.
agency. It was like, TV is gone. It's all digital.
Yeah.
Like, there is no either or in
I totally agree.
my view.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, you only need to look at how celebrities have embraced blockchain, crypto, and NFT. I would argue some of them in a slightly fake way
Yep.
and an inauthentic way. Some of them maybe in a good way. Anyway, I shouldn't say that, whatever. But the point is, I don't think it's going to be either or.
Yep.
And I think that, you know, I was just talking earlier today when someone said, oh, do we think this is real? What do you think about buying real estate in the metaverse? And I was like, well, I don't really think about it like that. What I do is look at massive, you know, spaces of participation and consumer behavior that exist today, like gaming, like Fortnite, like blah, 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 blah. You can probably recommend 50 cooler ones than I can. And then you say, what is the behavior? That is a bunch of people engaging in a world and immersing themselves in a fantastic experience, which is participatory, and they have a say on what the experience ends up being. So, of course, the metaverse is going to exist in the future.
I mean, look, I totally agree. I think, and this is, as we say, sort of being in the digital world so long, this is the pattern where people want to resist, and then their argument is trying to make it a binary decision, all in or not.
binary.
And the reality is, Web 2 brought a great amount of frictionless experiences to
Yeah.
us, and even old distribution still isn't a type of distribution that means a lot, that gets a lot of eyeballs. And the key, you know, we believe is like, how do you connect all that? What is the through point? And I think you can't stop technology from changing behavior. So I agree, the way people engage, you go to dinner, you watch any group of teenagers, they take a picture of the meal and care about their identity more online. And that is some connection to Web3, whether it's on blockchain or not, the philosophy. So I agree that I think it is sort of the connection, and it's not whether it's celebrity only and now it's all Web3 community. The reality is it's all going to kind of connect in different ways.
But I think you guys talked about art and science from the very beginning of your agency, if I remember studying that.
Well, code and theory, I mean, it is that creativity and technology.
So we are never going to be without art and science. And I would say that Web3, to me, is leaning far more towards art. I mean, I've never cared about finance in my life. And now I do. And that's because of the creators in Web3 and what they're doing around the space. I think we are leaning art there, and you know, we have a lot of other areas in the ecosystem where we can substitute for science. But
I totally
you know,
agree,
I mean, when you want to listen, well, I shouldn't say listen because we're not allowed to do that, are we? But when you want to actually pay attention to a community that you belong to, of which I think our brands do, you will get a lot of fantastic feedback on what experiences you need. And I think the real art in Web3 right now is the strength of the community and the creators and what they're creating.
Yeah, and I would say from a brand perspective, the real art is just being creative and figuring out what it could be. Because we're still in inning zero of who knows how long a game, which means it's all creativity now. Because we have a great technology that we see how it could transform people's lives. We see how behaviors are moving, and now it's just like, well, how do you take advantage of it?
But when you think about the fact that we used to do qual and quant research, and then you look at something like Web3, and you're like, do we really need that research anymore? Now, there are people who say there are only 2.5 people in Web3. I don't believe that. But anyway, I think, how do I feel about it? I feel energized. And I mostly feel energized about things that I don't understand and things that are creating such disruption, because you know that it is our job to get engaged and help form what that can be for the future.
Well, I'm going to leave us on that because I think that's a good inspirational ending. So thank you for joining us at this backstage speakers lounge, and hopefully now you can recover from all the traveling and get into this fan festival.
I'm very happy about it. There are a load of boats out there.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you.
Thank you.